The morning sun glints off Lake Keuka as I stand on the weathered dock, breathing in the scent of pine and fresh water. My coffee steams in the crisp air while I plan our summer merchandise launch. This weekend retreat was supposed to be peaceful, just me, my thoughts, and the gentle lapping of waves against the shore. My phone rings. Dad. "Morning, sweetheart," he says, his voice unnaturally bright. "Hope I'm not disturbing your weekend." "Never too busy for you," I answer, smiling despite myself. No matter our differences, he's still Dad. Good. A pause. "Listen, Alyssa, there's something you should know. The house is already sold. The papers are signed. The buyer's closing next month." The mug slips from my fingers, shattering on the wooden planks. Coffee splashes across my bare feet, but I barely register the heat. "What did you just say?" My voice sounds strange, distant. "We found a buyer for the lake house," he repeats, as if explaining something simple to a child. "Got a fair price too, all things considered." The world tilts sideways. "Dad, that's not possible. We own this house, Ryan and I. You can't sell something that isn't yours." "Now, honey," he says, that patronizing tone I've heard 1,000 times before. "Let's not make this difficult." My fingers grip the phone so tightly my knuckles turn white. The lake blurs before me as memories flash through my mind. My NYU full scholarship announcement at dinner 8 years ago. Mom and Dad nodding distractedly before turning to Lindsay with excessive enthusiasm about her community theater role. Leading lady in the Elmira Playhouse production. Now that's something special. Last month's family dinner, Dad leaning forward with unusual interest. "So those property papers we helped with when you bought the place remind me where you keep those?" Lindsay studying her plate, avoiding my eyes. Dad's dismissive wave when I tried explaining what this place meant to us. "It's just business, honey. Properties come and go." I swallow hard, steadying my voice. "This is fraud, Dad. You know that, right? I'm calling Ryan and then I'm calling the sheriff." His laugh floats through the phone, confident and unconcerned. "Your sister is drowning in $180,000 of debt. We had no choice. Family helps family." By stealing from other family members? The trembling in my hands stops suddenly. I stand taller, looking out at the water stretching before me. This lake, this house, we'd worked so hard for this. Our first real achievement outside the shadow of my family. "You'll understand once you calm down," Dad says, so certain I'll eventually fold like I always have. "We'll talk more when you're thinking clearly." "I'm thinking perfectly clearly," I reply, my voice steadier than it's ever been with him. "What you've done is illegal, and I won't let you take this from us." "Alyssa," he sighs, "don't be dramatic. Lindsay needs this. You've always been the strong one, the successful one. You can recover from this. She can't." And there it is, the truth I've always known but never wanted to face. My success isn't something to celebrate. It's a resource to be tapped when Lindsay fails. "Again, I have to go," I say quietly. "Think about this before you do anything rash," Dad warns. "Family first, remember?" I end the call and stare at the horizon where water meets sky. The shattered mug at my feet seems fitting, somehow the perfect symbol for what just happened to my world. Family first. It was always their mantra. I just never realized I wasn't included in that family. My thumb hovers over Ryan's contact. He deserves to know our home has been stolen out from under us. That my parents, the people who should protect us, have betrayed us in the most fundamental way. The lake ripples with the morning breeze, constant despite everything changing around it. I take a deep breath and press call, knowing that what happens next will permanently alter my relationship with my parents. But some betrayals can't be forgiven, and some things are worth fighting for. Later that day, Ryan slams his laptop shut so hard I flinch. His face has drained of color, making his usually warm brown eyes look dark and hollow. "They forged our signatures." His voice is flat, controlled in a way that tells me he's fighting to maintain composure. "I found the warranty deed in the county records. They actually forged our signatures." I lean against the kitchen counter, steadying myself. The wooden edge digs into my palm as I press down harder, needing something solid to anchor me while the floor seems to tilt beneath my feet. "Show me." Ryan reopens his laptop, fingers tapping furiously until he turns the screen toward me. There it is, a document with passable imitations of our signatures, dated 3 weeks ago. During that family dinner when Dad had casually asked about our property paperwork, the sale price is $420,000. Ryan says, scrolling through the document, "That's at least $100,000 below market value." They were desperate. I whisper, the realization turning my stomach. Who's the buyer? Marcus Campbell. Your classmate from business school? The betrayal deepens like a knife twisting. Did he know? The real estate agent told him we relocated to Oregon. Ryan rubs his forehead. They created a whole cover story. I stare at the document, at the loops and curves meant to be my handwriting. Call Sheriff Miller. 2 hours later, we stand in Sheriff Miller's wood-paneled office. My parents sit comfortably in visitor chairs while Ryan and I remain standing. The imbalance feels symbolic somehow. Let me get this straight, Sheriff Miller says, looking between us. He's known our families for years, and I notice how his sympathetic glances drift more toward my parents than us. Thomas, Carol, you're saying this was a misunderstanding? We were going to tell them after everything was finalized, Mom says, smoothing her skirt. It wasn't meant to be permanent. You spread rumors around town that Ryan and I were in debt, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. That's not a misunderstanding. Sheriff Miller looks up sharply. Is that true, Carol? Mom has the decency to flush. I might have mentioned they were having some financial difficulties. And the notarization? Sheriff Miller asks, turning to my father. Dad clears his throat. Jim Peterson helped us out. He's an old friend. Jim falsified a notarization? Sheriff Miller leans back in his chair, the gravity of the situation finally seeming to register. What you've described constitutes real estate fraud and document forgery felony offenses. Lindsay has always needed more help, Dad says, looking directly at me rather than the sheriff. Alyssa's always been the strong one. It was going to be a loan, Mom adds quickly. We were going to pay you back after Lindsay got back on her feet. The familiarity of their excuses burns like acid. Always Lindsay. Always her needs above mine. You risked prison to help her? I ask, incredulous. This isn't borrowing a lawnmower, Dad. This is our home. Ryan places his hand on my shoulder. It's not just our home. It's our business headquarters. We've invested over $520,000 in that property, not counting the business equipment. Our peak season starts in 3 weeks. I continue gaining momentum. Every water sports reservation, every rental, every program we run for the local kids, all of it centered at that lake house. Not to mention the potential damage to our reputation, Ryan adds. We have contracts with clients who expect us to be reliable. And Marcus, I say, turning to the sheriff, he's an innocent party in this. If the sale falls through, he could sue all of us. The thought of lawsuits and business disruption churns my stomach, but it's the personal betrayal that cuts deepest. For 30 years, I've been the responsible daughter. Now I'm wondering if that just made me the useful one. The summer programs, Ryan says quietly, and I know he's thinking about the local children who look forward to our water sports classes every year. We've already collected deposits from 23 families. Sheriff Miller studies the documents on his desk, then looks up at all of us. I'm opening a formal investigation and placing a hold on the deed transfer. Nobody sells that property until we sort this out. He nods at Ryan and me. You two can go. I need to ask your parents some more questions. As Ryan and I drove back to the lake house that evening, I couldn't help wondering, should I cut ties completely with my family after such a profound betrayal? Or should I attempt reconciliation once justice has been served? The path of forgiveness seemed impossible, yet permanent estrangement felt like another kind of loss entirely. What would you do when the people who should protect you become the ones you need protection from? 2 days later, I stare at my phone screen, frozen in disbelief. Lindsay's latest social media post shows her teary-eyed, holding an overdue bill notice. The caption reads, "When your own sister watches you drown because she values property over family." Comments flood in with heart emojis and prayers. My stomach knots as I notice 3 of our regular suppliers have already responded with sympathy. She tagged our business account, Ryan says, looking over my shoulder. His voice remains steady, but his jaw tightens. And every local business group. That explains why Riverdale Marine canceled our order yesterday. I set my phone down deliberately, like it might explode if handled roughly. They said they were reconsidering their community partnerships. The phone rings. Unknown number. Alyssa Carter. I answer, my customer service voice automatically clicking into place. Hi, I'm calling about a wakeboard rental? The voice sounds uncertain, but I heard your business might be closing because of family problems. I don't want to lose my deposit. This is the 4th such call today. By the time I hang up, Another notification appears, an anonymous 1-star review claiming we take advantage of locals while flaunting wealth. Ryan's laptop pings with a banking alert. He clicks through several screens, his expression darkening. Your father just attempted to access our business account. Used your maiden name and birthday as security question answers. I press my palms against the cool countertop, steadying myself. He taught me everything about running a business except how to protect it from him. The next week passes in a fog of hypervigilance. Ryan and I take shifts sleeping after finding footprints beneath the office window. I wake at every creak and splash against the dock. We've installed security cameras, but they only document the invasion, not prevent it. Yesterday at the grocery store, I spotted my parents' Buick in the parking lot and fled, abandoning a full cart in aisle 7. My heart hammered so violently I had to pull over 3 blocks away. I sat there, gasping for breath, furious at my own weakness. Meanwhile, the legal meter runs. Our attorney, Mrs. Harmon, doesn't sugarcoat the mounting costs of fighting both the fraudulent sale and the whisper campaign. Summer bookings have plummeted 30%. Locals who've known me since childhood now avert their eyes at the post office. I've become obsessive about documentation, recording phone calls, saving emails, photographing evidence. Last night, Ryan found me at 2 a.m., categorizing screenshots of Lindsay's posts by date and emotional manipulation tactic. Come to bed? He said gently. I need to finish this first. My voice sounded strange, even to me, detached, mechanical. It'll still be there tomorrow. So will they, I whispered. The unexpected knock at the door the following afternoon makes us both jump. Sheriff Miller stands on our porch holding a pink box and 2 coffee cups. Thought you might need these, he says gruffly, stepping inside. He sets the donuts on the counter and hands us each a coffee. Developments in the case can wait till you've had some sugar. I can't remember the last time I ate something that wasn't a protein bar grabbed between crisis calls. The sheriff takes a chocolate glazed for himself, dunking it briefly in his coffee. My parents tried something similar with my grandfather's farm, he says, studying the donut rather than meeting our eyes. Sometimes family is who shows up when you need them, not who shares your name. The simple kindness nearly breaks me. I bite into a maple bar to hide the quiver in my chin. Later that afternoon, I spot my mother at Lakeview Diner while picking up a to-go order. She sits alone in a corner booth, teacup cradled in both hands. Our eyes lock. For a moment, I consider leaving, but something propels me forward instead. I slide into the booth across from her. Alyssa. Her eyes widen with hope. You're speaking to me. I'm listening. I correct her. The waitress appears, but I wave her away. Carol leans forward, voice trembling. You're tearing this family apart over a house. Lindsay might have to declare bankruptcy because of you. The familiar guilt rises, but something new rises, faster clarity, sharp as winter air. You tore this family apart? I say, my voice surprisingly calm, when you decided my life's work was less important than covering for Lindsay's mistakes, again. Her face hardens. We raised you. We sacrificed everything for you. A laugh escapes me, not bitter, just genuine surprise at the absurdity. No, you didn't. You raised Lindsay. I raised myself. I place my palms flat on the table. And this house isn't just property. It's proof that I did a good job. Mom's mouth opens, closes. For once, she has no ready manipulation. I place money for my untouched coffee beside her cup and stand. The diner's ambient noise fades as I walk out without waiting for her response. That evening, Ryan tells me he's contacted his former classmate, the unwitting buyer of our stolen house. He was horrified. Ryan reports. Said your dad presented himself as our appointed agent. He's withdrawing his offer and filing a complaint with the real estate board. Martha from the marina calls next. I heard what's happening, she says without preamble. My office has that empty loft space. It's yours if you need somewhere to run operations. No rent first month. I hang up, momentarily overwhelmed. These people owe us nothing, yet they act while my family only takes. We should accept Martha's offer. I tell Ryan, surprising myself with my decisiveness. We'll move the reservation system and customer files tomorrow. I'm thinking we should add kayak tours for autumn. The foliage will be spectacular from the water. Ryan glances up, startled by my shift from defense to future planning. I thought we were waiting until this was resolved? Life's too short to let them steal our present along with our past. The words come easily now, without the second guessing that shadowed me for years. Our attorney calls with unexpected news. The family friend who helped with the false notarization has agreed to testify. He's facing charges himself, Mrs. Harmon explains, but cooperation will look good for his case. We spend the evening organizing our documentation, building an airtight case. I feel strangely peaceful, like finding the eye of a hurricane. Then the doorbell rings. Ryan checks the security camera and frowns. It's Lindsay. She's alone. I open the door to find my sister on our porch, face streaked with tears. No phone in sight to document this moment for social media. "Can I come in?" she asks, voice breaking. "There's something I need to tell you." The lake breeze carries Lindsay's sniffles across the porch as I press record on my phone. Her eyes, red-rimmed and puffy, fixate on her trembling hands while I maintain a calculated distance. "I need to hear everything, Lindsay. From the beginning." She nods, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. "They told me it was the only way to save me from bankruptcy." Her voice cracks. "Dad said if I didn't back them up, I'd lose everything. But I knew it was wrong, Alyssa. I didn't know how to stop them." I watch a heron glide across the water, its wings stretched wide against the cloudless sky. My fingers itch to reach for her hand, to offer comfort like I've done countless times before. Instead, I fold them in my lap. "I appreciate your honesty," I say, my voice steadier than I feel. "Here's what happens next. You provide a complete statement to Sheriff Miller, open your financial records to prove where that money went, and sign an affidavit acknowledging Ryan and I are the rightful owners of this property." Lindsay's head snaps up, surprise flickering across her face, not at the conditions but at their clarity. The familiar chaos of emotional upheaval is replaced by structure, by consequences with clear pathways forward. "You'd still help me after everything?" she whispers. "This isn't about forgiveness yet," I reply, watching a boat cut through the water. "It's about stopping the damage, one step at a time." Relief visibly washes over her. For perhaps the first time in her adult life, someone is holding her accountable rather than rescuing her. 2 hours later, tires crunch on the gravel driveway. Dad's silver Buick pulls up, Mom in the passenger seat. They emerge like storm clouds gathering force. "What did you say to your sister?" Dad demands, striding onto the porch with Mom trailing behind. "We've been trying to reach her for hours." I stand, positioning myself between them and Lindsay. "Lindsay came to me, Dad. She made that choice herself. After you manipulated her," Mom cuts in, her voice tight with righteous indignation. "You've always been jealous of our relationship with her." Dad steps closer, his familiar cologne, the same brand he's worn since I was a child, now making my stomach turn. "You think you're so clever with your legal maneuvers?" he says, lowering his voice to that dangerous register I recognize from childhood disagreements. "But I contributed to the down payment on this place. Did you tell your fancy lawyer about that?" The claim hits like ice water. I never received a penny from them for this house. "That's not true," I start, but Lindsay rises from her chair. "Stop lying," she says, her voice small but clear. "You didn't help them buy this house. You told me yourself you refused because you thought it was too expensive." Dad's face darkens. "Lindsay, we discussed this." "No, you discussed it. You and Mom told me what to say, what to post online. You said Alyssa owed us because she's always had everything come easy." Her voice grows stronger with each word. "But my debt isn't from necessities. It's from bad investments you encouraged me to make. It's from the business loan you convinced me to take out even though I had no experience." Mom steps forward, hands fluttering like nervous birds. "We were just trying to keep this within the family," she pleads, looking between us. "No," Lindsay says, straightening her shoulders in a gesture so reminiscent of my own that it startles me. "You were trying to avoid consequences. There's a difference. The united front I've faced my entire life fractures before my eyes." As my sister finally stands up to our parents, I wonder, was there more value in requiring a public reckoning where my parents faced legal consequences, or in offering them a private path to make amends that might preserve some family connection? Before I can decide, Ryan's truck pulls up. He's not alone. Sheriff Miller exits the passenger side, followed by Martha from the marina, and a man I recognize as Kenneth Lawson, the buyer who nearly purchased our stolen home. "Hope we're not interrupting," Ryan says, climbing the porch steps. Kenneth wanted to speak with you directly. Kenneth, a classmate of Ryan's from college, removes his sunglasses. Once Ryan explained what happened, I couldn't proceed with the purchase. I've already signed the paperwork to void the contract. No penalties. Martha nods firmly. This isn't the first time Thomas and Carol have tried manipulating situations to Lindsay's advantage. Remember the community center fundraiser in 2018? The donation that mysteriously got redirected? Sheriff Miller clears his throat. Mr. and Mrs. Carter, I've prepared the paperwork regarding the charges. However, he continues, looking at me. If a formal restorative justice agreement can be reached, the prosecutor may consider alternative arrangements. But that decision rests with Alyssa and Ryan. Dad's carefully maintained facade begins to crumble. The implication of felony charges the public humiliation. The potential jail time seems to finally register. His shoulders slump, making him look suddenly older. Thomas, Mom whispers, gripping his arm. The news spreads quickly through our small community. I can see it in the sympathetic nods from neighbors passing by, in the casseroles appearing on our doorstep, in the steady stream of water sports bookings that begin to return. Standing at the edge of the property, I watch the sunset paint the lake in fierce oranges and reds. I'm thinking of holding a community meeting here. I tell Ryan, clear the air, rebuild trust. Before he can answer, Mom approaches alone, her steps hesitant on the grassy slope. Alyssa, she says, her voice stripped of its usual certainty. What can we do to fix this? It's the first time she's asked without deflection, without making it my responsibility to solve. I turn to face her fully, the setting sun illuminating the truth between us. Next week, the lake house door swings open. My parents stand on the threshold, Dad wearing his sales pitch smile while Mom clutches a manila folder to her chest. Their unexpected arrival sends a jolt through my system, but I've learned to mask my reactions. I step aside without warmth, allowing them entry into the home they tried to steal. Beautiful morning, isn't it? Dad's voice carries that artificial cheer he reserves for business negotiations. We thought we'd drop by with a solution that works for everyone. Ryan catches my eye from the kitchen, his expression a silent question. I nod slightly, and he joins us, leaning against the doorframe with crossed arms. Mom places the folder on the coffee table, sliding out a multi-page document with reconciliation agreement, typed across the top in bold letters. She arranges 3 identical copies in a neat row, uncapping a pen with trembling fingers. We've drafted something fair, Dad explains, not quite meeting my eyes. A family resolution without all the legal messiness. I scan the document without touching it. The language is clear enough. I would assume 30% of Lindsay's debt in exchange for dropping all charges. The last page includes a non-disclosure agreement preventing me from discussing the matter with anyone outside immediate family. Everyone signs today, Dad adds, tapping the signature line with his index finger. Simple as that, and we can put this unfortunate situation behind us. What happens if I don't sign? I ask, keeping my voice neutral. Dad waves dismissively. It's just a little financial help, nothing you can't handle with your successful business. His emphasis on successful feels like an accusation rather than praise. Mom finally speaks, her voice barely audible. Lindsay will suffer most if this goes public, Alyssa. You know how fragile her reputation is already. The manipulation is so transparent I almost laugh. Instead, I walk to my office and return with my own folder thicker, professionally bound, with tabbed sections. I've been expecting something like this. I tell them, opening the binder on the table next to their flimsy agreement. So my attorney and I drafted a comprehensive restoration plan 2 weeks ago. Dad's smile falters. What is this? Documentation of the true cost of what you did. I flip to the first section. This independent assessment shows the actual business impact 37% drop in bookings, 8 canceled contracts, and quantifiable reputation damage in our most profitable season. I turn to the next tab. These are the conditions for moving forward without criminal charges. Complete financial counseling for the entire family, monthly transparency meetings, and a structured repayment plan for the legal fees we've incurred. Mom's face drains of color as I continue to the third section. This outlines the trust restoration process my therapist recommended because this was never about money. It was about trust and respect, 2 things you've completely destroyed. Dad reaches for the binder, but I pull it away. You don't get to dictate terms anymore. That privilege was lost when you forged my signature. Ryan steps forward, his steady presence amplifying my resolve. "We've already filed this with our attorney. Sheriff Miller has a copy too." Dad's face reddens. "You had no right to involve outsiders in family business." "You involved outsiders when you tried to sell our home to one," I counter. "Now you have 24 hours to review and sign, or we proceed with pressing charges." A month later, afternoon sun streams through the lakeside windows as neighbors and business associates gather on our expanded dock. Chairs form a semicircle facing the water, with my parents seated reluctantly in the back row. Ryan stands beside me, clipboard in hand, checking off arrivals. Sheriff Miller nods from his position near the refreshment table, where Martha from the marina pours lemonade into paper cups. The murmur of conversation quiets as I step forward. "Thank you all for coming today." I begin, my voice carrying across the water. As many of you know, our family has faced some challenges recently. Rather than dwell on the negative, we want to transform this experience into something beneficial for our community. I unfold a poster board showing the outline of a new program. Today, I'm announcing the launch of Lake Legacy, a financial literacy initiative for families, funded by my parents as part of our resolution agreement. Dad starts to stand, his face flushing, but Sheriff Miller places a hand on his shoulder. "Might want to hear her out, Thomas," he suggests quietly. "This program will offer free workshops on financial boundaries, ethical business practices, and family communication around money," I continue. "Because sometimes the most valuable lessons come from our greatest mistakes." The crowd murmurs appreciatively. I catch glimpses of nodding heads and encouraging smiles. "I'd like to volunteer as the program's first participant." Lindsay's voice rings out as she steps forward from the side of the gathering. "I've been part of the problem for too long, and I want to be part of the solution." The surprise on our parents' faces mirrors my own, but I recover quickly, squeezing Lindsay's hand as she joins me. "We're looking for community partners to help expand the program," Ryan announces, and several hands immediately raise. Martha approaches with her husband. "We'd be happy to offer our boathouse for weekend workshops. Our family went through something similar years ago, took us a decade to heal, but we're stronger for it." As the crowd breaks into smaller discussion groups, I notice my parents sitting alone, ignored by neighbors who once sought their approval. The power has shifted visibly, permanently. Some people believe family means sacrificing yourself. I tell the reassembling group as we conclude, I believe it means growing together with honesty and respect. The gathering disperses with handshakes and commitments to the new program. I watch my father stride stiffly to his car while my mother lingers behind, her eyes following me. As I stack empty cups, she approaches, looking smaller somehow, less certain than I've ever seen her. "Is it too late for us?" she asks simply, her voice catching. I reach into my pocket and withdraw a business card, pressing it into her palm. The family counselor's information is printed in clean, professional type. "That depends on what happens next," I tell her, turning back toward the lake where Ryan waits by the water's edge, his smile a reminder of the life we've built and protected together. The June sun warms my shoulders as I watch 28 faces focused on the financial worksheets before them. 6 months ago, this lakehouse dock was the site of my greatest betrayal. Today, it hosts our third financial literacy workshop, with every seat filled. "Remember," I say, pointing to the projection screen where budget templates glow against the morning light, "your financial independence isn't measured by zeros in your account, but by the freedom to make choices aligned with your values." Several participants nod. Among them sits Lindsay, her pen moving steadily across her worksheet. The sight no longer triggers that familiar knot in my stomach. Instead, I feel something unexpected pride in her commitment to change. My business license hangs on the boathouse wall behind me, framed in reclaimed wood with "Built on Truth" burnished beneath it. Ryan added that phrase after the court settlement, a quiet reminder of what we'd protected. And now, the community center director announces, "I'd like to thank Alyssa Carter, entrepreneur and community leader, for creating this vital program." The applause washes over me. I no longer deflect with self-deprecating jokes or uncomfortable shrugs. Instead, I smile and simply say, "Thank you. I'm glad to be of service." Later that evening, the familiar chaos of family dinner unfolds around my dining table, the same table where I once felt invisible. Now it sits in my lake house, under my rules. "I got the promotion," Lindsay announces, twisting her napkin. "Junior partnership at the accounting firm." The old script would have me offering polite congratulations while Mom and Dad overflowed with excessive praise. Instead, I stand and raise my glass. To Lindsay, who rebuilt her career from the ground up with honesty and hard work. I couldn't be prouder to call you my sister. Mom's eyes glisten as she joins the toast. Dad follows, his expression a mixture of pride and something else, respect perhaps. When dessert arrives, Dad leans toward Ryan. About those new kayak models you're considering, I think the fiberglass would be better than the carbon fiber. The maintenance costs alone. Thank you, I interject, placing my hand on Ryan's, but Ryan and I have already made our decision on that. A moment of tension hangs in the air. Then Dad nods, lifting his coffee cup in acknowledgement. Fair enough. The following weekend, Ryan, Martha, Sheriff Miller, and I gather on the dock as sunset paints Lake Keuka in shades of amber and gold. A small table holds 4 glasses and a bottle of local wine. 1 year, Martha says, uncorking the bottle. Who would have thought we'd be celebrating? Sheriff Miller, retirement badge gleaming on his fishing vest, accepts a glass. Seen plenty of family disputes in my day. Not many end with everyone still speaking. Ryan fills the remaining glasses, and we form a small circle facing the water. To sanctuaries built, not bought, I say, raising my glass toward the horizon. As we drink, Ryan's fingers find mine. Some people find out who they are in crisis, he says quietly. I was lucky I already knew exactly who you were. The following morning finds us welcoming 12 teenagers for our first weekend youth retreat. They arrive wide-eyed, taking in the canoes lined up along the shore and the new floating platform we installed for swimming lessons. This place is awesome. A girl with braces exclaims, clutching her backpack. Wait till you see what's planned, I tell her, handing over a brochure labeled Lake Legacy Youth Mentoring. Near the boathouse, Ryan unfolds architectural plans for an expanded dock facility, while answering questions from curious parents. Behind him, the framed deed hangs by the door, its simple wooden frame a reminder of what we fought to keep. In the background, Mom helps a hesitant boy adjust his life jacket, while Dad stacks paddles by size. They move with careful consideration, present but not controlling. Their participation feels like a fragile new growth, tender, but promising. As twilight approaches, I stand at the edge of the dock, watching ripples expand across the water's surface. Each circle widens until it fades into stillness, only to be replaced by new patterns. I wonder if betrayal, like those ripples, is always destined to fade with time. Is true healing found in forgetting the harm done, or in transforming it into something that serves a greater purpose? When family wounds run deep, is it wiser to rebuild with the same materials or to create something entirely new from the foundation up? The water offers no answers, only reflections beautiful, complex, and ever-changing, like the family gathered behind me and the sanctuary we've created together.